I never thought firing someone could feel like signing your own death warrant. But that's exactly what Harlan Voss did when he canned me in front of the entire boardroom, me. Faith Harlan. The invisible cog who'd been keeping his empire from rusting shut. 2 hours later, as his smug face stared back at me from my own bathroom mirror, I realized the real mistake wasn't my LinkedIn posts. It was underestimating a woman who'd already buried one secret for him. And now, with his life strapped to my body like a bad transplant, the payback was just getting started, starting with the loaded Glock I'd hidden in his desk drawer. The one he'd used to frame me for corporate espionage 3 years ago. San Francisco's fog rolls in like a guilty conscience, thick and unrelenting, smothering the city in that perpetual gray that makes you question if the sun ever bothered showing up. I'd been grinding at Vostech for 7 years. Ever since I graduated from Stanford with a comp sci degree and stars in my eyes. Convinced that Harlan Voss, the silver-haired visionary who'd built a neural interface empire from a garage in Palo Alto, was the ticket to changing the world. Neural interfaces. Tech that lets you jack into machines with your mind, blurring the line between flesh and code. It sounded like sci-fi salvation for the disabled, the overworked, the dreamers. But Harlan? He turned it into a surveillance wet dream for the elite, selling backdoor access to governments and core who wanted to peek into your thoughts while you thought you were just streaming Netflix. My job was mid-level engineering, tweaking algorithms to make the implants safer, which really meant more addictive. I updated my LinkedIn religiously, not out of vanity, but strategy. Every commit, every late-night debug session, I'd post a cryptic update, pushing boundaries where code meets consciousness neural revolution. It was my breadcrumb trail. My quiet fuck you to the NDAs chaining us all down. Harlan hated it. Called it attention-seeking bullshit in our one-on-overs. But he kept me around because I was good. Too good. Maybe. That Tuesday morning, the boardroom on the 42nd floor of the Transbay Tower smelled like overbrewed coffee and desperation. The glass walls hummed with the low buzz of the city below, market streets honking taxis, the distant rumble of BART trains snaking under the bay. Harlan strode in like he owned the air itself. His bespoke Tom Ford suit crisp as a fresh bill, flanked by his yes-men, Derek, the slimy CFO with the comb-over that screamed midlife crisis, and Lena, HR drone extraordinaire, clutching her tablet like a shield. The rest of the exec team, 12 suits in total, sat around the oval conference table, their neural implants glinting under the recessed LEDs. A subtle reminder that we were all wired, all watched. Faith, Harlan barked, not even glancing at the agenda projected on the smart wall. His voice was that polished baritone, the kind that sealed billion-dollar deals over steak at the House of Prime Rib. Stand up. I did, smoothing my pencil skirt, the one I'd splurged on from Nordstrom Rack, because why not pretend I belonged in this Shark Tank? My heart did a lazy flip over time crunch, another pivot to ethical AI that meant more data harvesting. But no. Harlan's eyes, those ice blue lasers, locked on mine with something darker. Contempt? Or was that fear flickering at the edges? You're done, he said, flat as a crash server. Effective immediately. Pack your shit and get out. The room went still, save for the faint whir of the HVAC. Derek smirked into his espresso. Lena tapped furiously, generating my termination docs on the fly. Whispers rippled. What the hell? From Javier in legal. A muffled gasp from Priya in product. I stood there, pulse thundering in my temples, the implant at the base of my skull tingling like it always did under stress, feeding phantom data spikes to the cloud. For what? My voice came out steady, honed from too many depositions in my head. I'd prepped for this. Run simulations in my off-hours code. But not like this. Not public. Harlan leaned on the table, knuckles whitening. Updating LinkedIn too much. It's a distraction. Undermines team focus. And frankly,
Faith.
it's unprofessional. Bragging about proprietary work? You're a liability. Laughter bubbled from the back. Nervous.
Sycophantic.
My cheeks burned, but I held his gaze. That's not in the handbook. And those posts? They're public domain insights. Nothing classified. Enough. He straightened, signaling Lena. She slid the tablet over. Severance waiver. Non-compete ironclad as Fort Knox. And a clause gagging me forever on Vostech secrets. Sign it, or we walk you out in cuffs for breaching NDA. Your choice.
Cuffs.
The word hung like smog. 3 years ago, I'd taken a fall for him. A glitch in the neural net, deliberate, I later learned, had leaked user data to a dark web broker. Harlan's doing, to curry favor with a Saudi prince investor. But the feds traced it to my terminal. I confessed to a misdemeanor hack, pled down to probation, all to keep the company afloat. He promised it'd be our secret. A team player move that'd earn me equity.
Lies.
All of it. And now this, firing me over LinkedIn posts that were basically haikus about debugging? I signed, pen scratching like claws on glass. You'll regret this. Harlan. He chuckled. Low and mean. Doubt it. Security's waiting downstairs. As they escorted me out, past cubicles where heads bowed like dominoes. Past the break room with its sad Keurig and faded, innovate or die poster, I felt the implant pulse again. Not stress this time. Something else. A firmware update I'd slipped in last week. During that routine maintenance window. My little rebellion, a backdoor into the prototype swapper. Vostech's crown jewel wasn't just reading thoughts, it was rewriting them. Project Echo, body swaps via neural override. Experimental. Black budget. Tested only on rats and unwilling convicts in Nevada black sites. Harlan demoed it once. In a locked lab, 2 lab techs. Mid-swap. Their faces twisting in digital agony before sinking. The future of empathy, he called it. Bullshit. It was identity theft on steroids. A tool for the ultra-rich to dodge death. Slip into younger shells. Or just fuck with rivals. I'd hacked the scheduler months ago. After discovering the leak wasn't a glitch, it was Harlan testing Echo on live subjects. Swapping exec egos to cover embezzlement trails. He'd swapped into a board member's body once. Siphoned funds. Then jumped back.
Me?
I'd borne the hack rap because my code touched the server. Betrayal didn't cut it. This was soul rape. In the elevator, descending like a coffin, I triggered it. A silent ping from my phone, disguised as a Spotify shuffle, to the implant. 2 hours to full sync. Enough time to get home, grab the burner laptop, and vanish into the Mission District's underbelly. By the time I hit my 1-bedroom in No Valley, rent-stabilized miracle with peeling wallpaper and a view of nothing but power lines, the tingling had spread. Fingers numb. Vision blurring at the edges. I stripped to tank and shorts, chugged a LaCroix, and paced the scarred hardwood. My cat, Schrodinger, eyed me from the windowsill, tail flicking like he knew the apocalypse was inbound. The swap hit at 2:17 p.m., sharp as a guillotine. 1 second. I'm staring at my reflection. 32. Sharp jaw from my dad's side. Auburn hair in a messy bun. Eyes green as the Irish see my mom romanticized.
Next.
Harlan's face leers back, late 50s. Crow's feet etched from too many boardroom battles. Salt and pepper beard trimmed to razor precision. But it's me inside. My thoughts. My rage. Coiled in his skull. I flexed his hands stronger. Veins like rivers on a map. Laughed. A bark that echoed off the tiles. Holy shit. The voice was his. Gravelly with that East Coast clip from his Harvard days. I raided my closet?
No.
This was temporary. The swap was ego only. Bodies stayed put. Wait.
No.
Echo was full transference. Neural map overlaid. Motor functions hijacked remotely. His body in Palo Alto. Mine here. But piloted cross-state via quantum-encrypted link. Unbreakable. Unless you knew the kill code. Which I did. First order. Confirm. I grabbed the burner. Logged into the Echo dashboard. There. 2 avatars pulsing green. Harlan Voss _prime in SF. Faith Harlan _proxy in no. Swap initiated 1417. Duration. Indefinite. Until manual revert. Or death. Grinning his grin. Predatory, I dialed Vosteka's private line. Lena picked up. Voice syrupy. Mr. Voss? Everything all right? Faith's exit was smooth. Peachy, I growled, channeling his bluster. Get the jet prepped. I'm coming back in. Board reconvenes at 4. And Lena? Fire Derek. That comb-over's been embezzling for months. A beat. Sir? Do it.
Click.
Adrenaline surged, hot and electric. This was it, the deep cut. Harlan's empire. Built on stolen code, mine. Mostly and buried bodies. The secret he'd chanted into my ear that night 3 years back. Bourbon on his breath in the company lounge. You take the hit.
Faith.
I'll make you rich.
Rich?
I'd gotten a bonus check and a pat on the head. While he jetted to Davos. Schmoozing with the Bilderberg set. I dressed in his style. Slim-fit chinos. Button down from Brooks Brothers. Loafers that screamed old money. The mirror lied. This shell was power incarnate. The kind that opened doors and throats, without knocking. Out the door. Uber to SFO. The city's pulse sinking with mine. Fog lifted just enough to tease the Golden Gate, red as fresh spilled rage. The Gulf Stream V waited on the tarmac. Pilots nodding deferentially. As we taxied, I plotted. Step 1. Dismantle from within. Expose the Echo trials, those volunteers from Skid Row, swapped and discarded like faulty drives. Step 2. The money trail. Funneled through Cayman shells to Harlan's offshore yacht fund.
But revenge?
That was personal. I'd make him feel every ounce of the isolation I'd endured, the probation hearings in a fluorescent courthouse, the bar tabs to drown the paranoia of being watched. Landed at San Jose exec 90 minutes later. Company town car idled. Driver tipping his cap. Mr.
Voss.
Traffic's a bitch. ETA 20 to the tower. Make it 10. I slid in back, cracking the minibar for a gray goose neat. The city blurred, strip malls bleeding into tech parks. Billboards hawking the next unicorn scam. Vostek loomed. A glass monolith etched with neural motifs, synapses firing in LED blue. Up the private lift. Biometric scan beeping green. Perks of the skin. Lena waited at 42. Wringing hands. Derek's out. Sir. He confessed to the discrepancies. How did you? No. I brushed past. Into the boardroom. The team assembled. Faces a mask of confusion. Priya's eyes widened. Recognition?
No.
Just the uncanny valley of Harlan's seeming. Off. Listen up, I boomed, taking the head seat.
His chair.
Leather worn from a decade of ass planting. Change of plans. Faith Harlan? That firing was a test. She's loyal. Reinstated. Effective now. And we're going public with Echo. Full transparency. Murmurs erupted. Javier. But the black budget. Screw it. I leaned forward. Harlan's charisma on overdrive. We're not hiding anymore. Schedule the presser for dawn. As they scrambled, I slipped to Harlan's office, corner suite with 360 views. Eames' desk piled with contracts. The Glock waited in the false bottom drawer. Matte black. Serial filed off. His insurance policy. Or so he thought. I palmed it. Weight familiar from range days back in college. Tucked it in my waistband.
Ping.
Implant alert. Proxy body stable. But stress level spiking. Faith's body me. The real me. Writhing in no. Cat freaking out. I muted it. Focus. The afternoon blurred into controlled chaos. Calls to Reuters. SEC filings scrubbed for leaks. By dusk, the tower glowed like a beacon. Paparazzi swarming the plaza below. Harlan's phone buzzed nonstop. Congrats from Zuck. Panic from the Saudis. I fielded them all. Voice steady. Lies slipping like silk. Night fell. City lights winking like conspirators. I poured scotch in his study-adjacent bar. Toasting the mirror. To mistakes.
Harlan.
Yours. Mostly. But as the liquor burned, doubt crept. The swap wasn't perfect. Echoes. They called them. Phantom pains from the host body bleeding through. A twinge in my left knee, his arthritis. Worse memories. Flashes not mine. A woman's laugh. Bourbon breath. A promise whispered in the dark.
Wait.
That night 3 years ago. Not the lounge. His penthouse.
Me? No.
The implant glitched. A surge of data flooding in. Not code. Images. Harlan's eyes on mine. Not as boss, but lover. We'd fucked.
Once.
Desperate. Post-leak. Him begging me to take the fall. For us, he'd said. Us. Sickness roiled. Betrayal squared. I'd borne his crime. His child, miscarried in secret, hidden to protect the company image. The secret wasn't just the hack. It was her.
Me.
Our daughter. Gone before she breathed. Rage reignited.
Pure now.
I triggered the next phase. Broadcast. Echo's core server. Rigged to dump everything, trials, swaps. The Saudi payoffs, to WikiLeaks. One command. And his world crumbled. Alarms wailed at 11:47 p.m. Security breach. Feds inbound. I smiled. Harlan's lips curling wolfish. And waited for the knock. The feds didn't knock. They breached. A symphony of boots and battering rams echoing up the tower like Judgment Day blues. Vosteka's lobby turned into a circus. Black SUVs screeching curbside. Agents in windbreakers swarming past the velvet ropes. Tasers crackling like faulty wiring. I'd watched it unfold from Harlan's perch, 42 floors up, the city a glittering ant farm below. Sirens wailed in Doppler waves, red and blue strobing off the glass facades of one market, turning the financial district into a disco inferno for the damned. I didn't run. Why would I? This body was the perfect alibi. Harlan Voss, untouchable titan.
Caught in his own web.
As the elevator dinged its arrival, I holstered the Glock deeper, under the desk blotter where his signed first edition Vonnegut hid. Footsteps thunder down the hall. Lena's shriek cutting through. Mr.
Voss.
They're here for you.
For me.
I straightened, buttoning the suit jacket, and stepped into the fray. Lead agent, mid-40s, buzz cut, eyes like spent casings. Harlan Voss, FBI. You're under arrest for fraud, conspiracy, and unauthorized human experimentation. Handcuffs snapped cold on wrists, his wrists veined and steady. I let them read me Miranda, voice gravelly with mock surprise. This is insane. Call my lawyer, Marcus at Cooley.
They did.
Marcus arrived in 20. Ferrari purring outside. But even he blanched at the evidence dump, terabytes spilling from Echo servers. Timestamps irrefutable. Harlan's digital fingerprints on every swap log, every dark web drop. The board scattered like roaches, Derek already singing to the DA for immunity. Priya lawyering up in Tahoe. Mugshot time, fluorescent hell of the federal lockup in San Bruno. The kind of place where dreams go to marinate in regret. Harlan's face glowered from the camera. Mug number 70, 482-19. I smirked inside, payback's portrait. Booking dragged, Prince. Strip search, humiliating in his sagging skin. Orange jumpsuit that hung loose on the frame I'd once envied for its boardroom command. Cell block C. Gen Pop for white-collar wolves. My bunkmate, ex-Enron's suit named Eddie. Tattooed regrets up his arms. Spinning yarns about Martha Stewart's Canasta Nights. What did you do? Voss? Insider tips on that brain zapper shit. Bit off more than I could chew, I muttered. Harlan's drawl masking Faith's lilt. Night 1, no sleep. The implant hummed. A low-frequency, whine only I could hear. Proxy body reporting vitals from no, heart rate 110. Dehydration flagged. I ignored it, plodding in the dark. Bail hearing at 9 a.m., Marcus would spring me on a cool 10 mil. Then, Phase 2, the personal gut punch. Courtroom in the Civic Center. That brutalist behemoth squatting on Van Ness like a concrete middle finger to justice. Judge Alvarez. No-nonsense Latina with a rep for shredding tech bros. Banged gavel. Bail granted. Pending trial. Surrender passport. Out by noon. Paparazzi frenzy. CNN trucks jockeying for curb space. Drones buzzing overhead like mechanical vultures. I shielded Harlan's eyes, sunglasses crushed in the scuffle. Barking at the town car. Drive. To know. Risky, feds might tail, but the proxy body needed tending. Faith's apartment. Door ajar, cat stewing. The furry anarchist. Inside, chaos. Schrodinger yowled from the kitchen.
Bowl dry.
Her body sprawled on the couch, limp as overcooked linguine, skin pale under the thrift store Afghan. I checked pulse, thready.
But there.
The swap drained the host, without 4 glucose. Coma in 48. I hooked her up bananas, Pedialyte. The works, propped like a broken doll. Staring down. A stranger's face, my face. Lips chapped. freckles faint from winter pallor. Hang in there, girl, I whispered. Harlan's timbre jarring. Tucked her in, fed the cat, then raided the fridge for Harlan's stash, a flask of single malt, hidden in the crisper like a guilty secret. Back to the penthouse, wait. His penthouse. Pacific Heights airy with bay views that mocked the plebs below. Keypad buzzed open. The place a shrine to ego, Warhol prints. A Basquiat screaming from the wall. Bar stocked with bottles that cost more than my yearly rent. I poured. Neat. And sank into the Eames lounge. Feet up on the Noguchi table. Phone exploded. 147 voicemails. Saudi's threatening fatwas, hyperbole. But pointed. Zuck's condolences laced with acquisition feelers. Mom, his mom. 82 and frail in Boca, sobbing about the family name. Family. The word twisted like a knife. That glitch memory from the swap, not just the miscarriage. Harlan had known. Hell. He'd arranged the cover-up, paid off my OBGYN, buried the records in a digital grave. Can't have scandals, he'd purred. Post-coital. As if our one-night lapse was a merger gone sour. I'd loved him.
Once.
Briefly.
Stupidly.
Convinced it was mutual. Not just a power play to bind me closer. Rage simmered to strategy. I fired up the air-gapped laptop, Harlan's paranoia gift, and dove into the shadows. Dark web forums. Where echo whistleblowers lurked, threads on ghost swaps, users dumped post-trial. Egos fractured. Bodies catatonic. One name surfaced, Dr. Elias Crow. The ghost in the machine. Lead neuralist on Echo. Vanished after the first human test. Harlan's right hand. Until he wasn't. Betrayed? Or bought off? Dug deeper. Crow's last ping. Encrypted burst from a Reno motel. Coordinates matched a black site. Area 51 light. Out in the Nevada flats. Harlan's playground for the unethical. I booked a red-eye to Vegas. Private charter to dodge the noose.
En route.
Over the Sierra's snow-capped teeth. I triggered a dead man switch. If proxy vitals flatline. Full echo blueprint dumps to every newsroom from NYT to Fox. Vegas hit like a fever dream. Neon veins pulsing down the strip. Slots chiming hollow promises. Rented a nondescript Escalade. Drove north into the desert night. Stars brutal overhead. No city haze to soften the void. The site, chain link and razor wire. Camouflaged as a solar farm. But the hum gave it away, generators feeding quantum rigs. Breached the fence with bolt cutters from the trunk, Harlan's kit. 4 executive retreats. Inside, bunkers. Floodlit quads. Guards patrolling with neural-linked AR goggles. I stuck to shadows. Harlan's bulk a curse in the scrub. But his voice?
Gold.
Flashed a forged RFID, cloned from his keychain, and bluffed past the gate. Voss. Unannounced audit. They bought it. Bunker 7. Sterile white. Monitors flickering with swap sims. And there, Crow. Mid-60s. Wild Einstein hair. Strapped to a gurney. Half his face cybernetic. Echo gone wrong. Neural feedback scarring. Eyes lit when he saw me. Harlan, you son of a...
Easy.
Document. I uncuffed him. Pulse racing. Not him.
Faith.
The fall guy. Recognition dawned. Slow as a reboot. The Harlan girl. The leak. God. It was you. I nodded. Freeing the 4. Tell me everything. The swaps. The secrets. Why me? He wheezed, voice a rasp from tracheal scarring. Harlan's God complex. Echo wasn't empathy, it was immortality. He swapped into donors, homeless, indebted, tested longevity.
You?
Collateral. Your code flagged the leak because he routed it through your station.
The.
Pregnancy? He panicked. Erased it to keep you pliable. Pliable. The word ignited. Crow hacked a terminal. Pulling files, manifests of swaps. Harlan jumping shells like outfits. Funding his vices, yachts, mistresses. A private island off Belize. And the twist. Crow wasn't vanished. Vanished. For refusing to swap Harlan into a senator's body. Post-election rig. We exfiltrated at dawn. Crow in the passenger seat. Gulping water like a man reborn. Back to SF. Feds none the wiser, yet. Penthouse became war room. White barred scrawled with connections. Crow's testimony recorded on blockchain for tamper-proof. I reached out to Lies, old Stanford profs. Activist hackers in the EFF hive. The net tightened. But Harlan fought back. Proxy alert spiked. My body convulsing. Sabotage from his end? No. Reverse hack attempt. He was waking. Ego clawing through the link. Flashes his rage. Pounding a cell wall in San Bruno.
Faith.
You bitch. Give it back. I severed the feed. Temporary blackout. Enough time for the climax. Presser at City Hall. Me in Harlan's suit. Crow at my side. Cameras rolled. The plaza packed. Activists chanting, "Neural no more." Suits heckling from the steps. Vostech is rotten, I declared. Voice booming. Human trials without consent. Identity theft. And me? Harlan Voss is the monster.
I've.
Borrowed his skin to expose him.
Gasps.
Chaos. Phones lit up. Shares tanked 80%. Feds swarmed again. But this time, warrants flipped for the real Harlan, wherever his soul squirmed. As cuffs clicked anew, this time on terms I dictated, Crow leaned in. The reversal.
Faith.
Echoes unstable. Permanent swap in 72 hours unless I let him die in my body. Controversial choice. Mercy or murder. I stared at the bay. Alcatraz a ghost in the mist. Decisions like that, they haunt. The holding cell in the federal courthouse basement smelled like stale sweat and shattered illusions, concrete walls etched with tally marks from souls who'd paced before me, waiting for the hammer to fall. Harlan's body ached in ways mine never had, acid reflux clawing up from the scotch. A hip protesting the thin mattress, like an old grudge. I'd been here 36 hours. Post-presser. The world unraveling via smuggled headlines on a contraband tablet. Voss impersonator claims CEO swap scam, screamed the Chronicle. Fox looped my confession. Pundits bang. Genius or psycho. The ethics of ego theft. Crow was in protective custody upstate, spilling to the DOJ like a busted hydrant. His files corroborated everything. 47 unauthorized swaps. 12 fatalities. Harlan's neural map, a Frankenstein quilt of stolen lives. The Saudi angle? Treason level. With bin logs tying him to drone strikes greenlit via swap generals.
Me?
Charges pending. Conspiracy, but with whistleblower immunity on the table. Marcus spun at gold. Heroic hacktivist reclaims justice. But justice? It curdled in my gut. The proxy link flickered. Unstable as promised. Flashes of Harlan's essence bleeding through, memories not mine. his childhood in Queens. Dad, a drunk cop beating rhythms on the fridge door. First kill, not literal, but the boardroom coup that buried a rival in bankruptcy. And me, that night. Not rape or coercion, but mutual desperation. I'd initiated. Post-layoff scare for the team. Bourbon blurring lines. Save us, I'd whispered. He had, by dooming me. Doubt wormed in. Was I the villain? Taking his body to torch his world. Leaving my shell to wither? Controversial as hell. Revenge or redemption? The cell door clanged visitors. Not Marcus. Priya. Eyes red-rimmed. Clutching a manila envelope. Faith. God. It's really you in there. They'd fast-tracked her clearance. We huddled in the consult booth. Plexiglass fogging with breath. The boards dissolved, she said. Voice hushed. SEC freeze.
But.
This. She slid the envelope. Ultrasound printout. Dated 3 years back. Grainy blob. Heartbeat arrowed. My lost daughter. And a note. Harlan scrawl. For the greater good. Forgive. Tears stung his eyes, watering like a faulty faucet. Why show me? Found it in his safe. After the presser.
He.
Loved you. In his fucked up way. Kept it as penance. Penance. The word mocked. I pocketed it.
Stealing.
Get me out. One last play. Bail jumped to 50 mil. But crowdfunding surged, Faith's fight trended. Blue-check activists ponying up from Brooklyn lofts to LA bungalows. Out by dusk. Ankle monitor beeping like a digital leash. Straight to no. Priya driving. Radio off to dodge the circus. My body, Faith's husk, had rallied. 4 dripped in a makeshift clinic Crow arranged. Hired nurse. Off books. Monitored the fade. Harlan's voice in my head. A ghost whine. Stop this. We can fix it. Together. Together? I laughed. Bitter. As Priya parked. You stole my life.
Harlan.
My name, Faith. Like the virtue you never had. My child. My freedom. Upstairs. Schrödinger greeted with a hiss, sensing the intruder in his master's skin. The apartment felt alien now, my posters of Blade Runner faded. Succulents wilted from neglect. Proxy on the bed. Breathing shallow. Monitors beeping Morse for mercy. I sat beside. Hand on her, my wrist. Pulse synced. A bridge of blood. The reversal ritual. Echoes kill code. Inputted via dual implants. 72 hours ticking. Do it now. And we both snap back, me to ruin, him to rails. Delay? His ego dissolves in my flesh. Permanent possession. Controversial calculus. Let him die. Claim the body as mine? Or forgive? Risk him clawing free to burn it all? Priya watched from the door. Envelope clutched. What if? The secret's bigger? Crow mentioned a failsafe. Harlan built it for you. Dug into the laptop. Buried code. A fork in Echo's root. Not destruction, duplication. A third ego.
Archived.
Our daughter?
No.
The ultrasound lied. It was a sim, neural echo of the fetus. Harlan's twisted memorial. Grown in silico. A digital ghost. Programmed with our traits, my code smarts, his ruthlessness. Waiting to be birthed into a host. Twist knifed deep. The crime I bore wasn't just the leak. It was this Project Legacy. Harlan's immortality hack for the unborn. He'd framed me to buy time. Miscarry the real pregnancy. Upload the echo instead. Greater good, my ass. Eugenics in ones and zeros. Rage crested. I initiated the code, not revert. Merge. Harlan's essence flooded the link. A torrent of screams and regrets. Faith, no. Yes. The room spun. Implants overheating. Acrid smoke curling from base of skull. Proxy arched. Eyes fluttering mine. Green and fierce. His body, mine now, convulsed. Veins bulging like lightning maps. Priya gasped. What are you? Making it right. The merge hit. Not swap. But fusion. Two minds in one shell, his body. Bolstered by Vostek billions. Now housing Faith Harlan hybrid. Stronger. Unbreakable. Dawn broke. Fog burning off to reveal the bridge. Steadfast red.
Istud, taller.
Joints popping with new vigor, testing limbs in the mirror. Harlan's face, but softer at edges. Eyes flecked with my green. Voice, a blend. Baritone laced with alto warmth. We, I said, tasting the plural. We're free. The feds waited outside. Warrants waving like white flags, deal struck. Vostek nationalized. Echo open-sourced for good. Priya hugged goodbye, whispering, hero or monster, you'll debate it forever. Out on the street, city humming, tacos from the truck on 24th, mariachi faint over the BART rumble, I walked. No cuffs, no ghosts. Just possibility. The digital daughter? Archived. Waiting. A choice for another day. Birth her into the world. Or let her code fade. Ending? Not happy. Not tragedy. Limbo. American as apple pie and arsenic sweet with rot. Leaving you arguing at the diner counter. Did Faith win? Or did she become the thing she hated? Harlan's empire crumbled. But in its ashes, something new stirred.
Me. Us.
The revenge that swallowed its tail. 2 hours after the fire, Harlan learned his mistake. But me? I learned grace in the merge. The forgiveness forced. Or was it erasure?
Drive safe.
San Francisco. The fog's thick. And the drivers. They're not always who they seem.